Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome in if this is your first time being here. My name is Melissa, this is Empowered Gems Tarot, and in today's reading, we're gonna be looking into messages from your ancestors. So I want you guys to take a deep breath, choose the deck or crystal that you feel the most intuitively connected to. And once you've made your choice, scroll down to the description box below to locate the timestamp that will skip you ahead to your chosen reading. See you there. Hey group one, welcome to your reading. So today we're going to be looking into the topic of messages from your ancestors. You guys selected the Wild Unknown Tarot and this selenite cube. And so what we're going to start off with today is finding out which ancestor is looking to communicate with you. So we'll get some insight into who this ancestor is, what they stand for, maybe their purpose. And then we'll talk a little bit about why they're wanting to connect with you and what message they have for you. So let's go ahead and jump in. So who is the ancestor coming through for group one, Spirit? So we start off with the healer archetype. And then we have Anima Mundi. Okay, I'm gonna just grab one more tarot card. Who is this ancestor that's coming in for group one, please, Spirit? Who is the ancestor coming through for group one? The Nine of Swords. Okay. So let's start here. You guys have an ancestor coming through who is, I feel, really desiring to help you guys with some deep healing and inner work. But I feel like what they're looking to do is actually to provide comfort and soothing and support to you during this time, okay? You guys selected selenite. This is a crystal that is meant to heal and cleanse like all other crystals. It's a very powerful cleansing and sort of resetting type of energy. And I feel with this Nine of Swords that this ancestor might be picking up on some stress and anxiety that you guys are going through, something that's literally eating away at you. And we're starting off first by uncovering who this ancestor is, right? And so I feel like the reason that this ancestor may be presenting themselves at this time with a message for you is because when they were going through life, when they were here on this earth, they maybe had struggled with this as well, this Nine of Swords energy of like, you know, fear and worry and things eating away at them. This healer energy is here to help you awaken to really deep healing that needs to happen. So think like inner child work, for instance, it could be significant here. Deep shadow work, things that are coming up to the surface that need to be transmuted, right? This ancestor may also be watching you and worrying about you as well, which is why they're showing up here as wanting to provide this support. A part of me feels, yes, okay, so what I was getting about this ancestor is that there's something about their story that's similar to yours and what you're going through, and hence this may be why they're coming down and watching and guiding you and have a message for you at this time. They've been through what you're going through. And it does feel like whatever you guys are going through is difficult, and they want to help guide you and nurture you. And there's something with this card here, this Anima Mundi, where it's like there's a oneness, a connectedness between you and this ancestor. Like for some of you, I feel like it's almost your higher self that's coming forward right now, like your higher self in another timeline coming forward. Or again, there's just something about your journey that's deeply interwoven or interconnected with this ancestor. Okay, so this card in particular talks about completions, cycles. It's kind of synonymous with the world archetype in tarot as well. So think like completing things, unity, big chapters coming to a close. Maybe some of you guys are on the precipice of a big chapter coming to a close in your life as well, which is why they're coming forward. So Let's see what they want to talk to you guys about, group one. So Spirit, what does this ancestor want to talk to group one about? This feels like, I don't know, with this particular ancestor, it doesn't feel necessarily like somebody you guys would have known in this lifetime. It feels like somebody from a past life or a distant time. Let's see. So what do they want to talk to group one about, please, Spirit? We have the Hanged Man. Okay. What do they want to talk to group one about? The Page of Cups. There's the inner child. Yeah. And we have the Four of Swords and the Devil coming through together. And at the bottom of the deck, we have an Ace of Wands. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's kind of spread things out a little so that we can see all the cards, but these go together. All right. I feel like your ancestor is asking you at this time, group one, to put something on pause or put something on ice. And that's coming through in both the Hangman and this Four of Swords energy. The Hanged Man, though, in particular, it talks about looking at things from a new and different perspective. And sometimes in order for us to see that new perspective, we have to stop and be still and sort of refrain from moving forward. I'm hearing stubborn, so I'm wondering if there could be a little bit of a stubborn energy that's coming up for some of you in your life around a specific matter at this time. So take that as it resonates with you, right? Sometimes the Hangman can be stubbornness, but to me, it feels like this ancestor is asking you to see something that's not super obvious to you right now, especially because this bat, it's hanging upside down, it's in the dark. You guys know like bats are nocturnal creatures, right? So they can see clearly in the dark. That's when they're typically operating. And I think that what this ancestor is asking you to see is something to do with your inner child, the Page of Cups, right? This Page of Cups can talk about very early emotional expression or childlike emotional expression. It can talk about creative expression, spiritual expression. And I'm noticing here that we have this little duck, this little baby duck, and it's got this beautiful rainbow energy being reflected back to it. There's something beautiful and unique and special about you that this ancestor is wanting you to see. Group one, it's something beautiful that you create through your creative expression and through your authentic expression of self. But I feel like there might be a little bit of a fear of showing it fully, or maybe you're not seeing the value that it brings in your current situation, or there's some healing work that needs to be done around that inner child, around that creative expression of self, that emotional expression of self that they're asking you to look and see. So think about your emotions as you're coming into this reading, group one. Think about your emotions. Think about the way that you communicate with others, the way that you receive feedback or information, right? Think about the things that activate you, because with the Devil here, they are saying that there is something that's activating you, right? Now, this Devil energy, this is toxic behaviors or patterns that impact the way that we're able to interact in the world. It could be for some of you that this is something within you. It could be that you're in environments right now that are bringing it up for you, right? So it could be internal, it could be external. It may not be your fault, but there is something here about where you are. I'm noticing how the feet are lit up on fire here, right? So something about where you're physically planting your feet in this world at this time that I feel this ancestor is saying there's something about where your feet are right now that's not serving you in your highest good. It also is saying for some of you that if this is something that's internal to you, right, a pattern, a behavior, something that is coming from within self, it's rooted, right? It's coming from the feet. It's rooted. It's something from your origin story here, okay? And they're wanting you to, again, with this Four of Swords, pull back the energy from it a little bit and rest and put it down. This Four of Swords, And there's a lamb here, right? So there's definitely something about your inner child, group 1, that this ancestor is wanting to make you more aware of, okay? This Four of Swords, you can see the lamb has the third eye illuminated here. So what this tells me, you guys, is that you guys actually have, and your ancestor wants you to know that you have really strong instincts, really strong intuition. This is something that you have had probably since you were very young. But there's something about this toxic environment or this toxic way, or I shouldn't say, I feel like toxic sounds really harsh, but this unhealthy way of where you are or how you're reacting or responding to things right now that is blocking you from being able to access that inner power. There could even be something here with the devil that is tempting you, right, to stay in a situation that's bringing out the worst in you, or that's not giving you what you deserve, not in alignment with you. And so that is where they're saying, like, you already kind of know that. Why are you still here? Okay. So this is super interesting. Let's see. We're going to come here next, group 1. So it seems like they're asking you to take a rest, to take a step back, take a rest, pull back your energy from something right now, and just kind of sit with yourself. The Ace of Wands here is at the bottom of the deck, so this is also creative expression. Ace of Wands can also be irritability, anger, sudden outbursts of anger or bursts of energy and excitement and passion. Take it how it resonates for you. It is also a new, fresh start for creativity and excitement. And I feel like maybe pulling back your energy and looking at yourself may help you to better access that within yourself. So what else, Spirit? What does this ancestor want to say to group 1? Message of concern and message here. So there's something about communication. Either you guys, maybe it's like the way you're communicating or expressing yourself when something is concerning to you. Maybe some of you guys have recently received some sort of message or communication that is causing some concern. And again, they're saying here, you need to look at it from a different perspective. Like maybe the perspective in which you're looking at it right now has some blind spots here. And perhaps the message is concerning, but there's something deeper about the anxiety that it's bringing up or the response that it's bringing up that this ancestor wants you to address, okay? Let's see. Let's get a couple more, group 1. Patience. This says your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Beautiful energy. We do also have all as well. This says everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. So it's like the Page of Cups, again, it's that early creative expression. The Ace of Wands is very early, new stages of something. And so Spirit is saying that there's still some time, greater time that is needed. Your ancestor is saying there's still more time that's needed here before things are going to be to the area, to the result that you are looking for. Okay. They are saying that you're on the right track and that you still need to continue to nurture and water whatever seeds you have currently planted, that you're actually in exactly where you're supposed to be. And so even if things feel hard right now, or you're not fully understanding why something is happening the way that it is, or why things are moving slowly, and so on and so forth, right? Basically what they're saying is with this Four of Swords, this Hanged Man, it's time to surrender to the universe, right? And trust that things are happening as they should for you. Okay? Which is hard. Let's see. We have the full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. So big transformative changes are coming, right? We also have the waxing moon. The energy is gaining momentum. So things are going to start picking up for you. maybe more quickly than you realize. So it's interesting, right? Because it does seem like they're asking you to have patience. Something about this devil energy and this Four of Swords is going to resolve itself very soon. Now, it's important to know that with this full moon eclipse energy, that this can bring you into some change that feels rocky, right? It might feel a little abrupt or rocky or powerful at first, right? Like something that's really pushing you outside of your comfort zone. I think for some of you, if you're into astrology, look at your natal chart, right? And look at your birth chart to see when the next eclipses are and when they're going to hit you or where they're going to hit you in your chart. That might give you some insight into what area of life this ancestor is referring to at this time. It feels though like it's something connected to your work for a lot of you guys, because there's something about patience and something that you're working on or putting effort into. But with the Daughter of Cups here and the Ace of Wands, it does feel like it's a little bit more creative in nature, or maybe spiritual in nature, or emotional versus just like money and finance, you know? But they're saying that big shifts are coming and things are going to resolve when it comes to this double Four of Swords energy, okay? So let's see, group one. Closing messages for you guys from your ancestor. Closing messages from group one's ancestor. As I'm shuffling, be open to change. A new opportunity showing itself as well. Let's see. Okay, we have this one falling out. This says embrace, find peace with your current state of being. Okay. And then we have putting in the work, action that helps achieve goals, building the path for success. Let's get one more. And then we have resolving issues, solving inner conflict with others, healing past trauma. At the bottom of the deck, we have stress, cleanse and detoxify from unnecessary commitments. So that's interesting, right? Maybe you guys have been overcommitting or overburdening yourselves, and that's why they're wanting you to take a step back from something here. But basically what they're saying, you guys, is with the Hangman energy, put it on pause right now, put it on ice right now. Try to see it from a new and different perspective. And instead of pushing to move something really quickly, maybe right now it's time to kind of play a little bit of the waiting game, right? A little bit of the trusting of spirit, trusting of this ancestor to help you. You're going to see it from a different perspective in time. Action that helps achieve goals, building the path for success. So continue to nurture and water the seeds that you have planted, right? Part of me feels with this Page of Cups, like there's still something very early in whatever this is that this ancestor is talking about. And they're basically saying it's going to take a little bit more time. So continue to plant those seeds, especially anything that's creative or spiritual or emotionally expressive that you guys work on, artistic, right? Keep nurturing that. Find peace with where you are, but keep putting in that work. And I think it's like about finding that healthy balance between like forcing something energetically versus leaning back and letting the universe take care of you, right? It's like that delicate dance of balance that you need to be doing with the universe to attract in your manifestations. We have resolving issues, solving inner conflict with others, and healing past trauma. This is what's getting resolved. Conclusions are being reached, okay? I think that if you guys are having issues with other people, Spirit is saying there's something about the inner child that's the key to unlocking resolution there, more so about understanding yourself and your own triggers, right? And I don't know why, but I feel like just something about where you are has you guys like really mad. Like there's definitely an element of anger or frustration or just feeling hot with something. And I think that it's because it's brushing up against something very deep within you that's grating on you, okay? So there is resolution that's coming. There is healing that's also coming through this deep transformation that's happening here. This eclipse energy, I think, is going to push you towards some sort of a resolution here. But I definitely feel like this ancestor is guiding you with this Four of Swords to try to not worry and stress about it so much. I know it's easier said than done, but I think understanding that like it's coming from a deeper wound within you, it gives you a little bit more power because you're able to see it much more clearly for what it is, much more objectively, instead of taking it to heart as something personal against you, if that makes sense. So this is what I see, group 1. Comment below. Let me know how this resonates and if you resonate with who this ancestor was for you. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading soon. Bye. Hey, group 2, welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Lover's Path Tarot and this Sardonyx crystal, this will be your message. So today we're going to be looking into messages from your ancestors. And so what I'm going to do first, group 2, is we're going to look into what ancestor is coming through for you with a message today. And then we'll dig into what it is that they actually want to talk to you about. So let's go ahead and jump in by looking at who is coming through for you. All right. So we have the Hiraeth. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And then we have the comic. Okay, I'm going to just pull one tarot card as well for this. So who is coming through spirit for group number 2? And we have the 7 of Pentacles here. Okay. Okay, group 2. Who is this ancestor? I feel like this is somebody who is probably a woman or was a woman when they were in this lifetime, the way you knew them, group 2. This feels like someone who maybe you guys didn't get to fully know. Like I get an energy of them maybe transitioning or passing away really early in your life. There's kind of an old school vibe that I get to this photo. So maybe it's like they were a grandmother, or maybe there was like an age difference here. Maybe they could have been a mother figure to some of you. Doesn't necessarily have to be. But it definitely feels like somebody who you've grieved. And maybe this ancestor has grieved a lot in their life as well. The reason I kind of feel like there's something about the connection that is, it feels like it's elusive or it was not quite fully formed is because of this 7 of Pentacles energy, right? So that's a card that talks about having built something, having invested in something, but not having been able to see it grow to its full potential just yet, right? Usually this is an energy of reassessment, right? Like looking at the situation, looking at the effort we've put in, assessing ROI, and then having the opportunity to pivot and make changes. And when I see this sort of duo here, it looks like a mother-daughter or like a sister bond, or it's just like some sort of connection where things didn't fully get to see through to their full potential here. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, this ancestor with this card here, there's like grief that's connected to them. There may also be a feeling that they're always present, yet elusive. Maybe the connection felt elusive to you in life because it just didn't have the opportunity to fully see itself through. But I feel like this ancestor, there's somebody who was funny. Like there's somebody who brought you a lot of joy. They may have had really good comedic timing, or they were good at making people laugh. They could have been somebody who was a little like unexpectedly rough around the edges, because I definitely get like a very like well put together vibe from them. But then their spirit was the energy of this comic, somebody who knew how to make a joke or to make light of a situation, or knew how to use comedy in a really smart way to sort of own the room. Interesting. So let's understand what they want to talk to you about today, group 2. What does this ancestor want to talk to group 2 about? Please, Spirit. What do they want to say today? Wow. Okay, so we have the Tower. We have the Hermit. And the Three of Pentacles, with the Queen of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Well, there's definitely something going on that they want you to be mindful of at this time. The Tower is tough, you guys. I feel like they want to talk to you about something that's recently been an upheaval that you've gone through, okay? And I do feel like I'm getting a sense of like you all going through this alone or feeling very alone as you're navigating through this, because it's like all these cards have somebody by themselves here. And it's kind of interesting too, right? Because it's like here we have the Tower. She's by herself outside of the Tower, which is on fire. Then we have somebody inside the Tower who's kind of like, or inside a building taking space for themselves. And then we have another Tower here with someone outside of it. So it's just kind of an interesting synchronicity. And then the Queen of Coins as well, who's by herself. This could, with the Queen of Coins at the bottom of the deck, be connected to your work for some of you, or your responsibilities, or Queen of Pentacles is definitely somebody who's like reliable, dependable, responsible. If it's in a work setting, they're good with business. They're definitely somebody you can count on, right? And I'm just kind of wondering if you guys, maybe in connection to this ancestor, like if they departed your life early, maybe it kind of taught you guys that you just have to go things alone, right? Or that you have to do things alone. Like you've become very self-sufficient here, is what I'm getting from this ancestor. They want to call that out to you as a positive. So they want to talk about this Tower. They want to talk about whatever has recently metaphorically burned down in your life. And maybe it's something where you guys have been feeling abandoned in a sense, like you've been kind of left to clean it up on your own. I feel like what this ancestor is guiding you to do at this time is that they want you to take a minute to pull back your energy from the Tower, to conduct some self-reflection. I feel like they're pointing to you taking time to pull back and detach from this Tower situation, to get more deeply connected to your inner world. For some of you guys, if you're artistic or musical or creative, I feel like this is what they're wanting you to focus on as you pull back your energy here. You see how he's like painting something? There's a musical instrument here. And then from there, there's an opportunity to rebuild something more stable and more sturdy. But it's interesting because the Three of Pentacles is typically about teamwork, collaboration, working well together with others, right? And this spread is very much indicating to me something about you going at it by yourself. So let's see what's going on here. What else can you tell us, Spirit? What does Group 2's ancestor want to say to them? What's this Tower? Message of concern. And we do have Lover's energy here. So did you guys get some sort of message, some sort of communication that caused this upheaval, that caused this tower energy to come crashing down around? And was it connected to a relationship, maybe a romantic relationship? I feel like it might be for some of you guys with the Lover's energy here. And they might be pointing to, right? Because I think, if I remember correctly, this story, and you guys can correct me in the comments if you know, but the story that's depicted here, I want to say, does have to do with being abandoned, right? And so it feels like there's something, some sort of message that you guys received, some sort of communication, something you saw, which caused this. And now maybe you're finding yourself suddenly going at it alone. But I feel let's see. I feel like if you guys, if this is connected to a partner and they're a man, the Hermit might be them as well. Like this person has pulled back their energy, and maybe this ancestor is saying it's for the better, right? Because they need to take the space to get in touch with themselves, with their higher wisdom here. Let's see. We have, you are safe. I'm protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and home. Look at this. This is definitely an ancestor that's recently transitioned or that has transitioned. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. Okay. So they want you to know that you are safe, you are protected. This tower energy, even though it may feel very disruptive in the moment, in time, I think this ancestor is telling you that you will see why it needed to happen like that. Because ultimately, those of you who follow tarot know, the tower is talking about a structure in our lives, a belief system, a structure, a relationship, something in our lives that is constructed on a foundation that is faulty. And so the tower comes up to break us free of whatever that is that's keeping us stuck, or that's not serving us in our highest good, or that is not fully sustainable for us long term. So yes, even though it feels really tough and difficult to go through this, they want you to know that in time you will see the reason. Now, if this has to do with somebody in your life who has recently transitioned and that's what the tower is, they're saying that it's okay for you to take some time to yourself, right? That right now, maybe there is needing to be more of an emphasis on self. Pulling back is protection in this situation. And with the Archangel Michael card here, I think it's also about knowing and trusting that the people that you're responsible for, the people that you care about, are being protected here. They're being watched over. Let's see. I'm getting an interesting message about these two cards. We're going to get to it in a minute, but let's see. Last oracle on this row. We have the full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. Okay. And then we have the full moon in Virgo. You are good enough, which is a beautiful message. So I feel like what they're saying is that if we look at the landscapes of these two towers, right? Here, the tower is out at sea in this rocky terrain in the middle of nowhere, which doesn't have like a great escape route, right? And she's isolated and she's alone with this tower. This tower over here, look at the terrain. It's lush, it's green, it's abundant, it's stable. And there's all these beautiful hearts here. So I feel like what your ancestor is wanting you to know is that you have the opportunity now to rebuild something that is better for you, more stable on your specific terms, maybe versus being on somebody else's terms over here. When within a situation that's like less than ideal for you and that's leaving you feeling abandoned or alone. Now, the full moon in Leo is interesting, right? Because full moons typically indicate like when a situation is at its peak point, it's at its heightened energetic state. There could be a lot of emotion that you guys are fielding through right now. And Leo energy is about leadership, authentic expression of self. Maybe there is a message for some of you around pride and ego, right? Making sure that you're not going it alone because you feel like that's what you need to do from an ego place, or being afraid of asking for help, right? But mostly, I feel like this ancestor is wanting you to be your authentic self, that this is an opportunity for you to invest your fullest version of you into this rebuilding that you're going to be doing here. Leo also has a connection to performances too, right? Like acting and theater, which there's an interesting tie in there with the comic. So maybe there is something that's a part of your rebuild that is connected to those creative pursuits. Okay. All right. So let's see, group 2. We're going to just do a few more cards to close us out. What else, Spirit, does group 2 need to know about this ancestor or from this ancestor? We have celebration. Good times come from hard work. Time spent in good company. So positive things are coming. Even though it may not seem like it right now with the tower and the message of concern. We also have sacrifice, giving up something now for a future reward. Interesting. And that could be part of the tower and the hermit energy, right? Maybe there is a dismantling or disruption and then a detraction that is allowing you the space to rebuild here. And then we do have fear, expecting the worst, afraid of failure, wasting time on negative thoughts. And look here at the bottom of the deck, we have lovers, a passionate connection, shared vision, and values. There's definitely something in the undertone of this message about a relationship, you guys. And you're very much alone in this spread. And so it's just giving me this energy of you guys having to rebuild after the loss of a relationship or the falling out of a relationship in some regard. But this ancestor is saying, maybe there's an energy around being afraid, and that could be the pride and ego, because sometimes the pride and ego, it's not always bad. It can be about protecting yourself from vulnerability in the right situation that's probably needed. But I feel like in this situation, the fears might be a blocker for you, right? And so if you find yourself expecting the worst or assuming the worst or assuming that the negative or the bad are going to be what's happening here, I think this ancestor is wanting you to know and trust that you're safe, and to know and trust that you are capable of doing this, of rebuilding something that's better for you. I think also with this full moon in Virgo, it's like believing that you're worthy of it is part of it as well. There could be some self-limiting beliefs that are at play that are blocking you here. So I think we're going to end your message here, group 2. This is what I have for you. Comment below. Let me know how this resonates with your situation. And if you connect to who this ancestor is, comment in the comments below who they are. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading really soon. Bye. Hey, group 3, welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Queen Alice Tarot and this sodalite crystal, this will be your message. So today we're going to be looking into messages from your ancestors. And what I'm going to be starting off with in this reading is first trying to get an understanding of which ancestor is coming through for you today. And then we'll take a look at their message for you and why they're coming forward. So let's go ahead and jump in with who they are. So we start off with the energy of the Judge. And then we have the metamorph here. Okay. And let's see one more. Who's coming through for group 3, please, Spirit? The 9 of Swords. Okay. Ooh, and then we have the Death card here as well. A part of me feels like you guys are going through like a big transition right now. Death kind of solidifies that because that's what this metamorph archetype is about. It's about this ancestor is somebody who's helping you through some sort of shift, change, transition in your life. And the Death card is also about shifts and changes and transitions. And I feel with this 9 of Swords, there could be some anxiety for you guys around this, and maybe this ancestor is seeing that, which is why they're coming forward with a message for you. I'm also taking notice here of, in this Death card, we have somebody who's literally falling off of a horse, taking a spill here. So I feel maybe for some of you, there's a message here about you feeling kind of knocked off your throne or knocked off course or losing ground in some sort of way when it comes to this change or this transition. And there's definitely pain and suffering here. Like she's crying, she's anxious, she's maybe feeling a little bit out of her depth here or feeling small. Yes, I feel like you guys are feeling small. There's also, remember in Alice in Wonderland when she drinks and eats the different things, how it changes her size? So I'm wondering if you guys are in a situation where you have metaphorically been shrinking a little bit and feeling small. And maybe this is causing some distress for you. So again, this ancestor is somebody who has been through this before. They've been through big changes or transitions. And their job right now is to actually be physically guiding you through this. The Judge energy is interesting too, because the Judge talks about somebody who understands fairness and justice and who makes a call based on the analysis of the facts and makes a call and a determination based on that analysis of the facts and sentences based on that stuff too. Right? So I feel like for some of you guys, there could be something karmic about this, like some sort of a karmic lesson connected to this energy. It doesn't mean that it's going to feel any easier, right? Just because something is legal, it doesn't always make it feel fair or ethical or make it feel like it's the right thing. And I'm wondering if there's a part of that that's at play here for you. So yeah, this ancestor, they're here to guide you through this. And they're in this Judge energy where there is like logic and fact and a ruling based on such things. So this is interesting. Let's just go ahead and get into their message. This person could have been somebody in life who was very serious or somebody who embodied those traits too. Like they were good at being neutral. Now, sometimes with a Judge, this can also be critical energy. So I'm wondering if for some of you, this person, like I keep seeing an image of the King of Swords from the tarot in my mind's eye. So they could have had like King of Swords vibes to them. Oh my gosh. Did you guys see that as I was shuffling? Look at this. Yeah. It's like a very strict, high standards type of energy. Sometimes it can feel very nitpicky to be on the receiving end of, right? So I'm wondering if that's, I'm wondering if this ancestor is look at what flew out again. That is so crazy. I feel like this ancestor might be wanting you to raise your standards a little bit here. Let's see. It's definitely giving like a tough love energy. All right, let's see. What do they want to talk about with group 3 today? Please, Spirit. What does this ancestor want to talk about with group 3? Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Temperance. Interesting synchronicity there with the number 14. Okay. 10 of Swords. And then we've got the Queen of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. Well, I will say this. I do think that this ancestor does have love and compassion for you, with the Queen of Cups being here. They may also be seeing this in you right now, that you're more emotionally oriented at this time, which is very interesting because I get a very logic-based vibe from this ancestor. And so it's making me feel like for some of you guys, they might be wanting you to take a more balanced approach to how you're looking at the situation, not letting go of the compassion and the emotion that you bring, but finding a way to integrate logic and fact and nuance and fairness into whatever it is that you might be going through. Okay, so what do they want to talk to you about? We start off here with the Eight of Pentacles. So I do feel for some of you guys, this might have to do with something you're working on, your craft. Eight of Pentacles can be an energy of us working really hard on something, putting our nose to the grindstone, really refining our craft and learning how to do things well and doing things the right way. It's interesting too with this Eight of Pentacles, right? Because it's not quite at the Nine of Pentacles. And I keep getting this energy that you guys were like, I don't know if the word demoted or there's something down, like that was downsized here, I feel. Or there was like a reduction of something. And so you guys might be feeling like you're not in a certain status that you once were in. I'm seeing it here with this Ten of Swords too, where it's like, it looks like Humpty Dumpty, right? What's that nursery rhyme? He sat on the wall and he had a great fall, and now he's he's not in a good place. But you see somebody's there picking him up, helping him. Okay. I definitely feel like for some of you guys, there was some sort of a metaphorical fall that you guys had. And so instead of being in that Nine of Pentacles energy where you were more independent, self-sufficient, kind of enjoying the fruits of your labor, it feels like now there is a taking a step back and having to work a little bit more, refine a craft a little bit more, get better at something. I'm also noticing in this Temperance card, remember we were talking about her eating and drinking things to change her size, right? That's coming up again. You see she's holding the little mushroom pieces here. I feel like there is a message from this ancestor around you guys knowing when to be big and when to take a step back. Okay, because I feel like maybe there was a situation here where you assumed, or you were in, maybe it's not assumption, but you were like in some sort of status, like you had status or power or some sort of high ground. And you've taken a spill here with this Ten of Swords. Something maybe got too big. Maybe this is where this ancestor is a little critical, you guys, but I'm getting this message of like your head got too big. I don't know if that's resonant to all of you, but I am getting a little bit of that in this reading where it's like something got too big and it wasn't sustainable and you fell. Okay. And now you're in a place where you're hurting, your pride, your ego has been stung, you're stressed out, there's sadness here, there's a loss here, right? And remember the Death card, it was somebody getting knocked off of their horse, right? And so coming back here to the Temperance card, I think that what your ancestor is saying, like, you still have work to do. You still have refinement of your craft and things to learn here and things to perfect and grow. And I feel like they want you to take joy in that, like take joy in the learning process. This person here who's doing this creating looks happy. He looks curious. He looks excited about the productivity that he's generating here. And it's not about intentionally making yourself smaller all the time, right? But I think with Temperance, it's about picking and choosing and judging, like, when do I eat something metaphorically that's going to make me bigger? When do I eat something that's going to reduce me down a little bit? And the Ten of Swords, you guys, can also talk about burnout, which can come from taking on too much, right? So maybe you guys took on too much, maybe you bit off more than you can chew, and now you're paying the price here where you're burnt out, you're stressed. And that is basically saying with Temperance that it's okay to like not say yes to everything. It's okay to take a smaller role in some things versus having to be the bigger person in charge or having a really expanded scope or whatever it is. They're also saying that you guys have support around you, right? You notice the two little figures here that are helping him up even after he's taken this spill. You don't have to do everything alone. I think you guys are very smart. Like, I keep just being drawn to his head and how big the head is here. I feel like your ancestor wants you to know you guys are very smart. You have a lot of amazing thoughts and ideas and skills that you bring. I think you're also very compassionate and empathetic and emotional in a good way. But I feel like they're saying you don't always have to feel the burden of taking on everything yourself with that, right? You have other people around you who can help you. Maybe you have the brains, but they have the tactical, right? Or you have the idea, but they can execute. Does that make sense? It just feels like this ancestor is pointing to some sort of need for balance here. Temperance can also talk about the integration of different ideas, right? And so it's like being patient and being able to see, like, here's my perspective, here's the other person's perspective. Now, how do we coexist? How do we integrate that to get the best result for everybody? And it takes time, right? Let's see. Oh, wow. So we have sudden wealth coming up here. Courthouse energy at the bottom. So there could be, with the Eight of Pentacles, sudden wealth is big energy, right? This is like when we're getting a pretty substantial increase in pay, and it is connected here to something that you've put in a lot of effort or work into, or that they're wanting you to continue. I wonder if they're saying, like, continued efforts, sustaining efforts and really fine-tuning and refining your craft is bringing this in for you. Let's see. We have chakra cleansing. Call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. Sometimes temperance can also be when we need to just take a rest, right? We also have moon cycles here. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations, and capitalize upon these cycles. I think your ancestor also is advising you to get more in touch with your body, right? And pay attention to how you feel, maybe during different times of the month. You know, the cycles of the moon, they're ever changing, right? So there might be a certain time where you guys find yourselves being more emotional. There might be a certain time where things feel heightened for you, and they're saying it's important to listen to your body, lean back and rest and nurture, maybe through eating the right foods, taking the right self-care practices to prevent the burnout energy that's here with this Ten of Swords. Let's see. Let's get another one here. Messages from Group 3's ancestor, please, Spirit. We have the cardinal moon. Be bold and make the first move. Okay. Then we do also have waning moon. What do you need to release? So there is, with this Ten of Swords, something that they want you to release, okay? Releasing burnout, exhaustion, stress. Maybe you guys have a tendency to overdo things or to take on too much, leading to burnout. But the cardinal mood is the initiator, right? It's about initiating something, taking that first step. Maybe there is somebody here, there are people here that you guys can be partnering with or initiating something with to make that first move. And I feel like they're saying results are positive if you release baggage from the past, whatever that is for you, whether it's like bad behaviors or taking on too much, something along those lines. I'm also wondering too, for some of you guys with these, like, I'm wondering if there's some sort of relationship energy that's here too, like repairing a relationship, or maybe for some others of you, this Humpty Dumpty character is somebody else who's fallen off their ego a little bit here, and you represent somebody coming in to help, potentially. But I feel like they're saying temperance is about moderation and patience, really checking in with your own body and your emotions around things before committing or overcommitting to something. Okay. All right. Closing messages here for group 3, please, Spirit, from their ancestor. We have evaluation. Feed out what doesn't serve you, reevaluate the situation. Okay, makes sense. Definitely seems like there's a need here to figure out a new approach, right? We have self-limiting beliefs. Negative thoughts are creating a roadblock in your life. Okay. And then we have stress, yeah. Cleanse and detoxify from unnecessary commitments, for sure. At the bottom of the deck, we have sacrifice, giving up something now for a future reward. So it's like, they're saying you don't have to take it all on, right? Like, you don't have to make yourself take it all on and then burn yourself out, because you guys are trying to maybe like keep some sort of leverage here, right? They're saying that you need to be more judgmental and high standards about like what you're taking on, and don't be afraid to initiate those conversations if it's needed. I feel like they're even saying with this 8 of Pentacles, sudden wealth, like even if there's something that feels like a reduction or a demotion or not being like the center of attention, I feel like with this 8 of Pentacles, this is actually a really beautiful opportunity for you guys to become more refined in whatever your craft is, which is leading you to making more money, right? And so it's possible that there are some self-limiting beliefs that are making this experience feel more challenging than it has to be. But it definitely feels like with the courthouse, there may have been something here, like a judgment that was made, you know, or a change that was ruled on that landed on you in a way that felt unfair, or that led to stress or something along those lines, or that is asking you to make some sort of a sacrifice here that you were not ready for or expecting. And I think this ancestor is coming through with the Judge because they're wanting you to look at what happened here from a more fair, logical, and less of an emotion-based standpoint. And maybe even asking yourself the lesson, the opportunity, the silver lining that's here for you, versus focusing on the negative that has happened. So very interesting message, group 3. Comment below. Let me know who this ancestor is to you, if you recognize them, and how this message resonates. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading really soon. Bye.